Hello, my name is Doris and I am Little Bird Products. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you've not been here before, thank you for joining us. And let me remind you, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe and you get notified every time I post. And subscribers help me keep going and give me the enthusiasm I need to keep up with my sewing. I wanted to first let you know how I did with my what I would call over-enthusiastic list of things that I wanted to get done this last week. What I did get finished was I did get 2 chenille kimonos made, and I said I wanted to get 2 to 4 made, so I still have 2 on my list, on my to get done list. What I got to done was 2, and those are in my store now. And one of them was that beautiful long peacock chenille kimono, and the aqua kimono I got finished. Let me see if I can turn you around here. I wanted you to see my stash of kimono fabric, the chenille, that I have laid out. You can see my stash has grown a little bit, and that's because I only got 2 to done. But I am going to pick some of my favorite colors out of that. Of course, they're all my favorite colors when I'm sitting here looking at them. There's a blue with some pink flowers on the back. I just love that. I don't have a blue kimono jacket yet. And there's also one that's kind of a, it's what I call a summer green. It's kind of a green aqua. That's a pretty special one too. And I might need a little extra fabric to go with that, so I'm not sure about that one. And then I have that one with the beautiful coral colored flowers. Anyway, I'm digressing again. The squirrels are coming after me. Another thing I did get finished, I talked about last week in my midweek review, that I could have sold my quilted back vest that I had made. It was this quilted fabric, and that's the other side of it, at the show, except the ladies that tried it on and really loved it wanted a vest that was a little smaller. And as most of you know, I normally upsize as well as upcycle, and I try to make things that fit me, like this beautiful shirt that I have on today. And, you know, I make things my size. So I decided that I was going to make a few more vests like that with the inset in the back and in different sizes. So that the vests really aren't that difficult to make, and I have a stash of different sizes. So what I did this week, I did accomplish making 3 vests, and I'll show you them here and here. And they turned out really nice. One is a small to medium, the other one is a large, and then there's one that's a 1X, so it does fit me, but a little snugly. So they're a variety of sizes, and that'll give me something else to do at the show, and I'm pretty proud of that. And then I also got a little sidetracked by having a special order that I got, and it needed to be shipped out right away because it was going to a new grandmother who's going to visit her daughter and her new grandbaby in Australia. And so before she left, she needed to have that packed in her bag so that she didn't have to pay the shipping, you know, to get it home. And so I finished that, and that was also a new embroidery image for me. And I'll put a picture of that here. It turned out really cute. And that took me a little longer than what I expected. And then I have another order for a custom book pocket pillow, and that's already, all the product is together. It just needs to be sewn together, so I needed to put that aside. So I did that. And then the last thing that I did accomplish, it was actually the first thing I did, and I talked about that on Wednesday. I needed to de-bunny, here's a picture of the bunny, a shirt that I sold at the show. This cute little bunny was on the back of this shirt as an inset, and the young lady loved the shirt, and she liked the gray t-shirt inset. She just didn't care for the bunny. So I told her I'd be happy to debunny it for her. So I debunnied it and got that shipped off. Now what I have on the list this week to accomplish, there's some things that are, the first 3 things are leftovers from what I hope to have finished today. I want to do 2 more chenille kimonos out of that stash of chenille fabric, and then I'm going to take and put that chenille fabric away so that it's not haunting me, because you know, it's like squirrels all the time. It distracts me when I see things laying around. So I hope to finish that today before the end of the day, at least to get the kimonos cut, the fabric picked out, so that I can put it away so it's not talking to me all the time. And then I want to make 2 kantha shrugs. I have 5 kantha blankets that are really beautiful, beautiful colors, and I like to make those shrugs reversible, so that'll take me a little more time. And then I want to make another kantha hooded kimono jacket like the one I showed at the show last week. That one was not reversible, but this one I may finish the inside seam so that can be reversible, because it turned out so beautifully. And then I also had on my to-do list, I wanted to make a quilted kimono jacket, because I sold the one that I had made, I sold it at the show. I'd like to perfect a hood to go on those. I don't have a pattern for a hood, but I think I can make one relatively easily, because if it fits on that the kimono pattern that I have, because I like this one kimono pattern, I like the way it turns out. If I can get a hood that I'm happy with, then I can use that and make a few more hooded ones, not this next week, but in the weeks to come. And then I did pick out 4 more denim shirts that I want to make with the kantha sides, because those have been selling really well. And those aren't a terribly difficult make for me, so I'm hoping to get those accomplished this next week. Also on my list before my next show, which is in 2 weeks. So I really have 2 weeks to get all of this list done, but I'd like to get even more than this list done. I'd like to upcycle 4 flannel shirts, because I don't really have any flannel shirts, and it's getting a little cooler here. So I really, really, really hope that I can get that list accomplished. I tend to be more aggressive with what I think I can get done. I need to probably start being a little more realistic about it, and I think I need to find I need to spend a little time contemplating how I can do a better job of accomplishing what I have on my list for the week. And I think that if I take a more focused approach, perhaps what I can do is do like I'm going to do today with my chenille kimono, where I pick the chenille out, I cut it out, and maybe serge the sides. I can sew them, you know, relatively quickly. It's the design aspect that takes me a lot longer, you know, putting things together. The kimonos, I fall in love with the kimono fabric, and then I contemplate, okay, do I want to make this one? Do I want to make that one? What goes together? Do I have enough fabric? You know, those kind of things. Those kinds of decisions it take quite a while. They do for me anyway. I'm not a quick decision maker. Once I've made the decision, I have the design aspect of things done, because with upcycling in pieces, you don't always have anything that's perfect. It isn't like you have 2 yards of fabric and you know your pattern takes 1 3/4 yards and you can cut it out and be done. With upcycling, it's a little different, especially when it comes to the vintage chenille and taking the sleeves off a denim jacket and deciding how long you want the sleeves, how large you want the jacket to be. There's a lot of decisions that you have to make that when you're using a pattern and you're just using fabric, you know, those decisions are pretty much made for you. So the creative process of upcycling and upsizing can take longer, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. You know, if you sew and you're always using a pattern and you know what the yardage is and you know what the size is, and you know, in a sense that's a lot easier. So when you're upcycling, you're pretty much making your own pattern as you go, unless you have a pattern that you're going to model it after. And I tend to not use patterns very much. I feel like it takes some of my creativity away, and sometimes it stifles my creativity. So I'd rather be creative and have it take me a little longer, but I don't do a good job, I think, of managing my time as much as I should. But you know, what the heck? I'm retired. It's not like, somebody's paying me an hourly wage. If it takes me 4 hours instead of an hour, or if it takes me 4 days, it doesn't matter. That's up to me. I don't really normally build it in to my pricing model, because if I did, I probably would be making 50 cents an hour. But I love it when someone loves what they bought, when they give me a 5-star review on Etsy and they say they feel beautiful when they wear my pieces and they love the uniqueness. I'll give you an example. When I sold the hooded kantha kimono at the show, it was one of my higher priced items because the kantha cost me a little more, and it takes me quite a bit more time. And the hooded kimono takes more fabric, than some of the other things. So I did put a higher price on it because I hadn't sold one before and I wasn't sure how to price it. And the lady who bought it came in about 15 minutes before the show was over, the last day of the show, and she said, "Oh, I was in the other day and I saw the red kimono, the hooded one," and she said, "I just loved it." And she said, "I kept thinking about it after I went home." And she said, "Today's my birthday and I just decided that I needed that, and so I came in to buy myself a birthday present." And she put it on and she just went like this and she loved it. And that makes me feel so good, that she liked it enough to come back and buy herself a birthday present. So that made me feel pretty good. But those do take longer, and the same way with my quilted kimonos, because I spend a little more time with them too. And the quilted pieces that I use are a little more precious and they cost me a little more. Now they're not vintage, but they're nice. They're nice pieces, nice quality. So they are some of my higher priced pieces, and I only make one at a time. I'll have one at the show. Now I'm doing these other 2 shows back to back. So if I can get 2 hooded pieces made before the next shows, that would be great, because I can sell them on Etsy too. My first one that I made was out of a vintage quilt. It had some flaws in it and it wasn't complete because I don't cut anything pristine. I've said that before. And I had listed that on Etsy and it sold within a week. And that lady gave me a 5-star review too. She just loved it. So 5-star reviews, having people love what they buy, that's part of what keeps me going. And also having people that subscribe to my YouTube channel and comment. And hopefully you get a little inspired to do some upcycling yourself. My t-shirts, I usually wear a lot of the things that I make. I don't sell a lot of the graphic t-shirts like this. I sell, I want to call them nicer shirts, but they're more dressier, t-shirts. They're not really a t-shirt, but like that. And I have probably 150 of them. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe I have 50. And I'm trying to get through doing all of these jackets and things because I'd like to get back to upcycling those. And they're really fun, and I think everyone should have at least one of them. My t-shirt ones like this, I like this one, and it says something about, my body knows how old I am, but my mind refuses to believe it. And so you can read this backwards. And I kind of think that fits and suits me. And of course, it has pockets in it. And I like making these with pockets because they're a kind of a cheeky way of wearing things. And when people see me with my purple hair and my graphic t-shirts that are snarky, then that says it all. They don't even have to wonder what I'm like as a personality, because you can see me coming and you can walk the other way if you want to, or you can say hello, because I probably will keep you talking. And I think that's all I have for today, because I need to put my nose to the grindstone and get a little more of this to-do list done. So wish me luck, send me some good vibes, and make sure you subscribe. Oh, one little factoid. I started this YouTube channel last year at the end of the year because it was one of my goals for this year is to have a YouTube channel. On the other side of that was also to have 1,000 subscribers. Well, I'm at 830 plus, and I can't seem to get that last 170. And I really wanted to ask you again to subscribe, because I noticed in the facts on YouTube, they show me how many people have watched, and they tell me how many of those people are subscribers and how many are not. Well, over 50% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribers. Well, that says 50% are subscribers, but hopefully the reason you're not subscribing is because you think it's going to cost you something. Well, it doesn't. You just have to have a login to Google, and that's not difficult to do. You can do a search and figure out how to do that, and once you get a login, the world opens up to you. And you can subscribe to anyone's channel, and you can also leave comments, which is really nice. You have to have a Google login to be able to leave comments, I believe. I could be lying. That's why I say it's a factoid, not a fact, because a lot of what I say are factoids. And if you really wanted a factoid, you could ask me about the axolotls, because I know more than you would ever want to know about axolotls. So, with that, I'm going to leave you and get my little self back sewing. Bye!